Patrons are the best, you know. Thanks to Alan, Billy, Blizz, Brett, Caleb, Chen, Christoph, David, Edia, Eric, Gary, Joey, the other Joey, Christopher, Matthew, Miguel, Mike, Rodrigo, Sagchief, and Z for their support. If you want to support me, links are in the description. Enjoy the video. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, this is Blue Maxima, and we're going to do this one just a little bit more casual today. Right? I mean, I don't think that Shenmue deserves the usual look through. We're just going to relax and take it slowly. Because Shenmue is a surprisingly calm experience. I've been playing it for about 6 hours overall in bursts, and it has been a surprisingly chill affair. There are multiple reasons for this, and we'll get into them when we get into them. So, this is the PC version, and I have been playing this on my GPD Win 2 because playing Shenmue on the go is something I never thought I'd do, even back when I barely knew what Shenmue was. But yes, so let's just go and have a look around, shall we? Just before we get into the game proper. This menu screen is weird. It's bizarre. So, you've got the ability to rebind all your controls, which is really nice. And there are also a couple of neat options up here, including area jump. And I don't know if this was included in the original game, but I'm willing to bet that this was included in the HD ports. And I'd actually recommend not using this as much as possible, just purely because of the way this game handles its storytelling. There are a lot of things that you can miss simply by jumping back and forth between different areas. So I would recommend turning that off, but I've got it turned on just for convenience sake. But yeah, you can rebind all your keyboard keys if you like, but I'm just going to be using a controller because this game was designed for a controller and it's very comfortable with it. You can change the audio language between English and Japanese, which is actually pretty cool. Notably, the Japanese audio is actually way higher quality. I assume that this is because they just had a little bit of trouble recording the English audio way back when and they didn't have any way to really remaster it. Which is a shame, but at the same time it gives the game a little bit more flavor, which is a little bizarre, but there you go. It's got some options, but not many. I mean, this is literally a port from a Dreamcast game, at least this first one. They did also include Shenmue 2 in the same package, which is apparently based on the Xbox version. But I've only been playing Shenmue 1, because why would I jump straight into Shenmue 2? They do have a fair few options, though. You can turn down the resolution scale and also turn up some super sampling, which is actually a pretty neat set of options to have completely separate from each other. FXAA, Bloom, which I hate, so I keep it turned off, and a couple of other neat things like the UI display area. That's all some pretty neat stuff. You can also change the aspect ratio, but this is only a thing during the actual gameplay segments. The game swaps to 4:3 whenever you sneeze. No, whenever you're in a cutscene. So that's a thing that happens. I have actually, just to be safe, this is my desktop computer, which is running a bloody 2080, but just to be safe, let's keep this down to 100%, because it's not really going to affect much anyway. I'm only on a 1080p screen, so it's not like it matters too much. So if we hit continue, thankfully this game adds the ability to let you save literally anywhere. Apparently you used to only be able to save in your bed, which is a little bizarre, but at the same time it was a Dreamcast game, so that's just how they did things. I have a bunch of save slots here just in case we need to skip to any particular thing, but for now, we're just gonna load into Rio's room. And yeah, this is where we start. So yeah, let's just do this nice and casually. This is his bedroom. There is a fair amount of stuff in here, actually, and you can take pretty close looks at all of it, including the clock, which is completely consistent with the clock on the top right corner of the screen, which is a neat trick. We can even have a little bit of a look around, and if we look down his drawers, we can turn the light on. You have literally no reason to do this, but you can do it. We can even have a look in some of his drawers and see what's in there. This game has this love of extraneous detail. And it's just kind of neat, literally being able to go and look through all his drawers. And while most of them don't contain anything, sometimes you'll get a really good reward for looking through every drawer and every little nook and cranny of the game. Like, I found random scrolls for extra moves and spare batteries, which is a really nice touch. But still, yeah, you can look through everything if you want to. It's kind of strange. Even in other people... Well, I don't think I've been in another house yet, but when you're looking around stores and stuff, you can look at all sorts of things. You can't even buy it, but you can look. There's even got a little trash bin down there. The look controls are a little bit weird. You have to hold the left trigger and then press the A button to open things. It's a little bizarre. The entire control scheme, notably, is a little bit stiff, but at the same time, it is a game that came from the Dreamcast, so I'm not going to give it too much shit for that. This is our residence, our dojo. Yes, we can pick up the piggy bank, and we can even shake it around a bit if we want to, and we can hear the little noise inside. We can't smash it, because that would be very rude, but you can definitely have a look at it. Virtual Fighter poster on the wall there, because everyone who exists in this universe is a massive fan of Sega. Yeah, it's just... I know this might seem weird, me simply just having a bit of a wander and looking at all the extra, all of the ridiculously in-depth stuff that's going on that ends up serving no practical gameplay purpose whatsoever. But there is a purpose to all this. It's mainly because this is kind of what the game is. It's exploring. It's looking around. It's taking in the atmosphere, more or less. But let's not spend too much time here because we are actually on a real-time clock. Whenever we walk outside, we get a little bit of extra money. And the first voice line that we've heard in this entire video, and yes, it doesn't sound great. No, actually, have I looked in here? Boots and shoes. What was I expecting? I'm not entirely sure, but yeah. If we go to walk outside, it'll ask us where we want to teleport to, but we're just going to go to the yard, which is actually what's directly outside here. Oh, it's raining. That's neat. The weather is actually different every day, in the sense that they have specifically programmed in weather for each and every single day. It's really neat. I mean, I know it doesn't sound neat in like in modern day standards, because we've got like real-time weather that changes every few in-game hours in Grand Theft Auto, but it just seems a whole lot more homely and what's the word I'm looking for? More visionary here, especially since this is a Dreamcast game from 2000. We do have a run button. And I will admit I use it a lot when I'm trying to get around because the default walk speed is kind of bad. But still. So anyway, this is Fuku, I think, right? And he's asking me if I want to spar with him.
Yeah, I'm ready for you, Fuku-san.
And why not? Because this is probably the only instance of, like, a fight that you'll see in the game. In this video, anyway. I'm not even joking.
Let's
like,
give it all we got, eh?
I've been playing this game for about 6 hours, right? Oh, dear. I've been playing this game for about 6 hours. And
that's the Fuku-san I know.
I've only been in, like, 5 fights. Like, I've been in enough that I could count them on both hands. The controls are simple enough. X and A are your punch and kick. You've got a block on the Y button, and you've got a grab on the B button. It plays like a two-dimensional game, actually. It's kind of neat. You've got all sorts of different moves you can learn.
How's that?
But, frankly, the combat is actually surprisingly simple and easy. Like, I'm purposefully screwing up here just to let him get a few extra hits in, but the thing is, it is actually surprisingly easy. Every fight I've been in this game has more or less been a cakewalk. You do normally have some health in the bottom left, but
how about this?
In this fight in particular, it's just not
That's
a
it
thing.
for today. Let's continue next time. Thanks very much.
It's usually surprisingly simple at the very least.
Nope, it won't open. Gotta find the key.
It's a mystery, because yes, there is actually a mystery going on. There is a plot, except it takes a really long time to get going. So the general idea of the plot is that you are Rio, and your father gets killed by a mysterious Chinese, I'm guessing triad member, and he steals, the triad member, steals a mirror from you. And this mirror is apparently very important because he ends up killing your father over it. So your quest is to avenge your father. And it is surprisingly slow to get there because you literally start out with nothing. You have no idea who this guy is, how to find him, or even anyone that might be associated with him. So you have to wander around town. You have to wander around town looking for information on one random dude that was with them at the time. I'm just gonna run down here because there's not that much to see on the way down. I can't keep you here forever. So you literally have to wander around town. Kitty. I have to go say hi to the kitty. And there's some people here too. What are they doing here? Hi, kids.
Hiya.
Hey, y'all. Let's play together sometime.
Sure. See you later.
Okay. Bye-bye.
You literally just have to wander around town asking questions of people. And yes, you can talk to the kitty, and yes, you can pet the kitty.
There. Good kitty.
I'm pretty sure the cat's actually getting bigger.
How are you doing?
I'm pretty sure, yeah, I am
Hey,
100%
see you soon.
certain that this cat is getting bigger. Let's help him get bigger. I think I can feed him some canned tuna. Sega brand canned tuna.
You hungry? Here. Looks like she likes it.
Yeah, she must have been hungry.
Yep. But yeah, as I was saying, you have no idea who this guy was, who his mates were, where he's going, where he's from, and you just have to wander around and ask people whether or not they saw this one random dude that was with him at the time. And that will get you a little piece of information eventually, which you can then pass on and give...
Sumiya-san. Hello, Sumiya-san.
Hi, y'all.
Usually they'd give you more information, but I'm not actually in the right spot for the story to progress. And yes, there is another cat down here. And there is a phone booth. Yes, you can use it if you feel like it. So you just go around and talk to random people and hope that they have the information that you need. Rinse and repeat for 6 hours. It's so bizarre, like... It feels extremely natural, even today. Which is the most weird thing about it, too. Like, literally just wandering around and asking people, hey, did you see that weird guy who was here around the day my father died? It is just so strange at how realistic it feels.
Maybe just one.
For a game from 2000. And yes, you can buy gacha figurines. And they have tons of them. There's an achievement in this game that's like, get 50.
Huh?
I didn't get a very good one there, but I already have like 20, so I'm actually doing pretty well for myself.
I should try again.
And yes, you can spend all your money on
I'll pass.
bloody Virtua Fighter things, if you feel like it. Or, you can visit a store. How you doing, old lady?
Ma'am.
You're always full of energy, aren't you? Little suede-headed girl has really grown up.
Please don't call me little suede-headed yo.
I'll think about it.
The voice acting is very technically bad. Like, you can hear the imperfections in... Yes, you can come here and buy potato chips if you feel like it. You can hear the imperfections in the voice acting. You can hear where the compression has been done really bad and they haven't had the opportunity to try and fix it. But all the voice acting is done by people who've clearly not done much in the way of voice acting before. And it's way more charming than it has any right to be. Especially since you can talk to literally anyone. Sure, a lot of people will literally just blow you off and say, "Hey kid, I'm busy, come back later." Or, "You're talking to me, you piece of shit." But it still works incredibly well. And even the few characters you get to talk to are at least interesting. There are a bunch of characters around that do have an effect on the story. So, you can go and talk to a bunch of like characters, and all the dialogue gets updated every time you get a new story event. So you can go and talk to new people and they might have new information for you. Someone who didn't have information for you before might actually know where the tattoo parlor is. And I know I'm making it seem like a game of just going around and talking to people most of the time, but that's what it is. There is more to do. But it definitely doesn't feel like any other game I've ever played. Now, the comparison that most people will draw is to the Yakuza series. And while I feel that that is probably the closest comparison you can make, at the same time, I feel like it's a bit of a disservice to both games at the same time. Hi, old man. You got anything to say?
You again. You always seem in good health.
Yes.
You take care that you don't catch cold. Health is the most important thing. You can't buy it with money.
Sure thing. But yeah, I've heard it most closely compared to Yakuza, and now that I have closely played through Yakuza and I've been playing through a fair bit of Shenmue, I can say that the two games are almost entirely different beasts. Yakuza has a big focus on massive amounts of drama and big flashy fights and some really ridiculous shit. Shenmue is much more down to earth and a lot more grounded in just the general day-to-day goings-on of someone who basically has no idea what they're doing, trying to fumble their way through to the end of the plot. Not much in the way of anything really serious happens in the first 6 hours.
Good.
In comparison to a Yakuza game where you'll probably get 2 murders, 1 betrayal, and a bunch of fights where someone gets all their teeth knocked out in the first, like, 3 hours. In this game, you're lucky to get 1 fight in 3 hours. It is a much more subdued experience. And I feel like it's all the better for it. Because there is nothing quite like strolling through Dobuita, looking at all the shops, and just talking to all the people looking for more information. There really is nothing quite like it. It is inherently relaxing. You can enter a few of these shops, but not all of them. And some of them even have times that they're open and closed. Unfortunately, I can't enter this one here, but you can see that they've got an open and closed time there. There are a few that you can enter. Most you can't, which I can forgive. But you can definitely go into some of them. Like, for example, this antique shop. It is absolutely worth exploring, because if you never come in here and look at the shelf on the left, you'll never see these moves that you can buy for the 2D fighter parts. You can talk to the lady as well.
Oh, Ryoko.
Yes, welcome.
Where's Oishi-san?
Grandpa is out on an errand right now.
When will he return?
I don't know.
I see.
So yeah, it's homely, it's comfortable. It feels like just a stroll through the park. Which makes the actual moments of action, suspense, and drama all the more satisfying. Especially since it feels like you had to work it to really get there. And yes, we can go into the convenience store and buy Sega-branded AA batteries, if I can just get the controls to... There we go. In fact, if you buy enough stuff, you'll actually get to participate in the store raffle, which I have not won once. But oh well. I was expecting some kind of dynamic event to pop up. Because they usually do. When you're just wandering around. Like, sometimes they'll just give you a random bunch of dudes to beat up. It's very rare. Like, it doesn't happen very often at all. But it happens. Sometimes. But yeah, for the most part, you're mainly going to be sorting out the story. There are other things that you can do, though. For example, if I was to wander on over back to... So, despite the fact that this is a surprisingly small town, it is actually kind of easy to lose your way. Didn't I wander past the bloody arcade? Actually, I did, didn't I? This is why you look at the map, children. Where's the arcade? Oh, I'm doing really bad today. I don't even see it. Yep, I suck. Let's just wander around a bit more. There is an arcade that you can go to that has darts, Space Harrier, and hang on, because it's a Sega game, of course it does. And there are other mini games that you can play. Like, for example, one of the big things they throw around in one of the things they throw around on discussion forums for Shenmue. Like, one of the first things I learned about Shenmue was the forklift racing, because that's actually a thing. Haven't actually got there yet. I am up to the harbour, which I'm going to go to now just so you can get a little bit of a better idea of the voice acting and just the general state of things. But yeah, I haven't actually gotten to the proper thing there yet. But yeah, there is a lot of stuff here. I just need to remember which way is out to the bloody main road. I always forget. Because it's a tiny town, but I've never had the best sense of direction. I'm pretty sure I've gone the wrong way. Oh no, I haven't. There's the arcade, by the way. And there's the main road. There's a reason why I'm coming out here, because you need to take the bus, and guess what? The bus actually comes at scheduled times. And we're about 20 minutes late, so while we're waiting, I can actually go over some things. So, you've seen some buttons down there. Those are your controller buttons in the bottom right. If you press X, it actually pulls up a full-on diary. And every time something happens in this game, you can... Well, you can. It writes it down for you automatically in the diary. And you can actually skip parts of the diary, which kind of disappoints me, because I'd be hoping that I'd fill it out, like, just, like, straight through, so that I would be able to keep, like, a full record of the story. But apparently you can just outright skip information if you get lucky or ask the right person, which is also kind of neat. You can also skip to the beginning and the end of the diary, including seeing things like the weather forecast, which is a thing. You can also hit up the menu. You can see items that you've got. You can examine them quite thoroughly. I've been buying a lot of squid legs for some reason. I'm not sure why. And yes, you can examine them quite thoroughly, including flipping them over and seeing some information. The game will give you information on everything, and you can also pause the game entirely, which is nice. You can see your collections of everything, including music tapes, your gacha figurines. There are a lot of gacha figurines. You can see all your moves, including how well you're doing with all of them. There's actually train overnight. You can save anywhere, and there's all your options. But the bus has arrived. We want to get on. I do not want to miss the bus. So it's a very simple menu. A lot of the stuff is done in context in games, so I can actually appreciate that. It makes the game feel more... I dread saying the word cinematic. But anyway, this is the New Yokosuka Harbor. I probably fudged that pronunciation worse than cake farts, but nevertheless. We can go have a bit of a look around. Now, I do believe that there are some dynamic events that I can come and see here. And I'm going to run around the place just for the purpose of getting this done faster, because seriously, it takes an age to walk up here if you do it the long way, so... Right, let's see if those dynamic events are still around. If I remember correctly, one should trigger as soon as I hit this counter. Or not.
Hisaka-san,
Ryo.
I need to get to the old warehouse district, but...
The old warehouse district. It's just up the street.
Great. Thank you very much.
No. Okay, so... I'm gonna load my game, because... I'm going to guess... that... the reason why I'm not getting the dynamic events I expected is because I came at the wrong time. I just remembered. Because... So this is the way it works. There is a real-time clock. And of course it does affect where people are. It will affect where they are at certain times of the day.
Thank you, Ine.
But it can also affect certain events you run into. Because I just remembered that the event that I was expecting is actually me delivering lunch. Which is... You know, I think that's kind of obvious. Am I going the right way? Yeah, I'm going the right way. I need to go down to the end of the main road. So yes, if I go there and I show up between like 11 and 12, I think I'm pretty sure I'll get the event I'm thinking of. Damn if I remember the right way. Yeah, this is the right way. It's got the things going on up there. I could stop in the arcade for an hour, but knowing my luck. Yep, I missed the bus. You actually have to wait there for the bus. It kind of sucks, but... Yeah. Alright, I'm going to jump cut this for you, just to save some time. Alright, so I'm back in New Yokosuka Harbor. And it is 10 o'clock. So if I wander over here and talk to her...
I need to get to
The old where... It's
Right.
just up...
Great.
So, let's see what happens if I come back in an hour. There we go.
Big sis.
Hi, Mai. What is it?
Lend me some money.
No way.
Why not? Come on, lend me some.
I said no. I know you'd only waste it.
Prude! See if I ask you any more.
Mai?
Hisaka-san.
Hi, Ryo.
What's wrong?
Mai's hanging with a bad crowd and treating our family bad. She wasn't like that before.
Really?
Ryo, could you talk to her? She won't listen to me at all.
Me?
Yes, considering you've known her since she was young. Please, talk to her.
I'll try.
Really? It'd help me out.
Okay.
She's somewhere in the harbor, behind the warehouses.
I'll go check.
So that was the cutscene I was expecting to get. I actually had to go and have a look at the entrance to the old warehouse district where old warehouse number 8 was. But yeah, so there are little mini side quests that you can do. Some other ones come up as well sometimes.
I keep telling you, stay out of here. How'd that bum get in here anyway? No idea.
Are you alright?
Yeah. Young man, sure is a cold day, eh? Don't suppose you'd buy an old man a can of coffee, eh?
I'm not going to buy the old man the coffee because I did before and I know what happens. He actually gives you a piece of information that I already have, which is there were 2 warehouse number 8s. But still, just little side quests like that will pop up from time to time, and they're cute. Then you've got this sort of cutscene.
Mai.
What are you doing?
Mai, your sister's worried about you. Let's go home.
Who the hell is this? Screw off, asshole! Kiss off!
Not so bright, are you?
Bastard!
Quick time events!
Kick your ass! Let me go!
You shouldn't play with stuff like this.
What are you doing?
I'm not going to preach to you, Mai,
Also, he teleported.
but you shouldn't treat your sister that way. Not family.
Yo.
So yeah, now we've gone and had a word with Mai. We can head on back. And hopefully I didn't screw up for too long, because I was waiting around for a bit thinking, why isn't this triggering? But it's triggered now, so hopefully if I go back it might actually give me the piece of information I'm looking for. Let's go back and have a word with her.
How did it go, Ryo?
Not sure, but it's her decision. By the way, Hisaka-san,
What is it?
do you know the old warehouse district?
Yes, I do. Oh, it's a bit far. It's just up the street. I have to go make a delivery there now.
Really?
Yes, to the security office there.
The security office. Hisaka-san, I could make the delivery for you.
Oh, really? That'd be a great help. They've already paid.
Alright,
But
What?
there are only 10 security guards, but they always order 12 meals. I wonder why.
2 extra meals?
Well, here it is, Ro.
Excuse me, Hoko Hoko lunches.
Huh, you?
I have a delivery, 12 lunches?
Yeah. Just put them there.
Okay.
You're on duty in the new warehouse district from 8 p.m. too?
Yeah.
Man, guess we'll be short-handed here again. As if the night shift isn't busy enough.
Hey, you're still here? If you're done, go on, get out.
Yes. Between 8 and 9 p.m. That's my chance. Isaka-san, I'm done.
Have any trouble finding it?
Not really.
You've been a big help. Thank you, Ro.
Anytime.
So yeah, that side quest actually gave me some useful info. I have to wait for the guard shift to change before I can actually make an attempt to find the old warehouse number 8, which is what I came here looking for in the first place. It's so weird to play a side quest and be rewarded with information. Like, think about any other game. Think like Yakuza, where you get experience points, or any other kind of RPG where you get an item. But this game, all it does is give you a little bit of extra info on what you need to do next, and it's actually pretty good in that sense, because information is what you're here and looking for in the first place. I mean, other than just, you know, there is a notable lack of distractions on the side, obviously. There are some arcade machines you can play, and some, you know, nice, weird little fights to get into that don't really do that much for you. And we can actually go and have a look at one of these games, because since I have to wait for the night shift, we might as well go and play a couple of games of darts. It's just... It feels weird to be, after having played other games for so long, to not only be rewarded with just information on what I need to do next, but to be actively satisfied by it, instead of getting something else to help me progress. It's weird, but it's also really engaging. And I appreciate it quite a bit. It's...
Alright.
It's surprisingly enjoyable and a lot of fun. Because that's the entire point of the game. It's to get information. Hunt down the guy who killed your dad. That's the entire point of the game.
No good.
So, to make it so that the entire game is just based around the idea of you looking for stuff is really interesting,
Hey,
considering
not too
that,
bad.
well, it's this sort of game where you can just wander around town and just talk to random
is it.
people and see if they actually know what's going on and help people with their problems, all in chasing that one particular goal. There's nothing on the side, there's just...
Yeah.
There's just a couple of things to distract yourself with if you get bored of hunting down the main
I had
thread.
a free game.
But other than that, it's just... It's
No,
nice. It's really nice. I'm legitimately surprised. I was expecting to be bored to hell at this point. But that drive for more information actually set in really quickly.
No good.
And I'm enjoying the hunt a lot. And considering that this game is surprisingly lightweight about all of that,
Hey, not too bad.
it's nice. I know I don't have much in the way to say other than it's nice, but
So close.
I'm not kidding, it's actually really nice being able to just wander around, take it at my own pace and all that.
Last
Now,
one.
the game does actually have a time limit. I am fully aware of this. However, the time limit is actually in
Hey,
months.
not too bad. The last game.
So, I apologize, I got something stuck in my throat.
Oh, good.
The time limit is really, really long. Like, I went and looked up where I was in-game on a guide, just to see, like, how much of the game I'd gotten done. This game starts in December, like the very beginning of December, right? And right now, in-game, the in-game time is like December 20th, or something like that. Not even the 20th, honestly. It's still in December. And I'm about 1/3 of the way through. Once you hit the harbor, that is the 1/3 point. In the original Dreamcast version, when you hit the harbor, that was the time you had to swap discs.
No, good.
And considering that I'm 1/3 of the way through the game, and the final, the time limit runs out on, like, April 21st, or something like that. So, even if you spend a bunch of days digging around, looking for side quests, and little playable events, and just stuff like that, even if you spend all of your time doing that,
100 yen each, huh?
You
maybe just
can still have a couple of months left over to get the main plot complete. So really, the only way that you can lose the game is if you basically screw up on purpose a lot, or just spend way too much time just waiting around.
I should try again.
There is a couple of things that can force time forward, so that you might end up in a bad position. The event that we're actually about to go do, if you fail it too many times, it will jump you forward a day every time you fail. So if you fail it a bunch of times, you might end up in a situation where you end up losing a lot of time. I got kind of lucky. I ended up finding out where you needed to go almost straight away.
It's the same one.
But yeah, you might end up screwing up a little bit there. But thankfully, since the game lets you save anywhere, saving before you hit that point, or at least saving once you realize, because you could probably save in the middle of the minigame, so saving once you realize that every time you fail, you end up skipping a day, means that it doesn't become that big of a deal. It's despite the fact that there is a time limit, it is really reasonable. It's kind of like the second hidden time limit in Fallout, the original one, where it's like 7 years of in-game time. You're not going to find that time limit on accident, or at the very least, you would have to be really, really, really bad to get it by accident. You have plenty of time to wander around and just figure out what's going on in the world before the time limit's up. You have absolutely tons of time. I'm buying lots of cans because you can actually get like a random rare can that'll let you participate in the store lottery. I'm just hoping that one of these I'll get it, and I can do it just while I wait for the clock to hit. There we go.
Yeah, a winning can.
That's what I'm talking about. The technical performance of the port is debatable. Now, I was running this on my GPD Win 2. The game only runs at 30 frames a second, which is absolutely fine. It's a remaster of a game that came out on the Dreamcast. The fact that they added 16:9 to it is kind of impressive in its own right. But at the same time, there are some bugs they've got going on. Some weird glitches going on here and there. Some things like cutscenes break. So it's just a little bit unfortunate sometimes that there are just these weird little bugs that can get in the way. There's this one bug that I keep running into on my Win 2. It turned out to be a driver problem.
No win.
Oh, no win. I never win these bloody things.
Try again another time.
There is this one problem on my GPD Win 2, which is entirely integrated graphics. And it had this annoying tendency to change all the textures to white for some reason. So it just kind of ended up just having this weird little problem where it wouldn't actually let you really play until you go and downgrade graphics drivers. That was a weird bug to figure out. But anyway, I downgraded my graphics drivers, and while I'm still playing through Shenmue, I'm going to stick on the older ones, stay on the older ones, until I can finish this. Because apparently Shenmue 2, for some reason, doesn't have the same problem, despite the fact they both came along in the same thing. It's a little bizarre, I gotta say, but... yeah. So how to Tom, by the way. Tom's great.
Hi!
You're looking good.
Yeah, I'm always grooving, man. If I move, more customers may come.
Yeah, sure. Keep it grooving, man.
Yep, keep it grooving, man. He's great. Like, he hasn't actually done anything in the story. He's just this random... oh god, I don't know what to call it. Rastafarian, I guess? Just this random Rastafarian dude with a hot dog truck. Just chilling. What an interesting man. But anyway, let's end this off with a little bit of a skulking around this place after the night shift happens. This is going to take a little while, so this is going to be another jump cut, but trust me, it'll be worth it. I'll just run over here because the transition is a little strange. I'll be back. So there's the transition for you. It's, again, surprisingly homely. But now we can make our way in.
Hello. Oh. Whew, that was close. Okay, now's my chance.
Stealth section!
Huh? There's some writing. Warehouse number 6. No, not here.
Yes, really, for whatever reason...
security guards.
Well, not really
I
whatever
can't let them
reason, it
catch me.
makes sense in context, but it's a stealth section! That is just something else entirely. I'm impressed. It's huge to have the gameplay just suddenly change like this. It's nice. And it's fair too. Like, you aren't gonna get screwed over by some random guard seeing you from a million miles away. You have to get into their beams. And if they catch you, they will put you back to the beginning of the segment. They don't make you wait another in-game day, which is also quite nice. Let's just hide here. Shenmue... it's... oh, really?
Right
Okay, never mind. They can see it like that. That kind of sucks.
Don't hang out here.
It's no good. I'll try again tomorrow.
Yep, the day has gone forward one and I get to try again, which is really nice, actually. Thankfully, I know, like, the most direct way. I think I know the most direct way to warehouse number 8, actually.
Yes, this is warehouse number
Yep.
8.
If I just go straight in the door... that's it. Yeah, I know. It's a little bit weird to have it be so simple. Like, I can understand why people would fail, but I actually found that super damn quick for some reason. So if I just look at this plate, it'll start the next cutscene. I'm going to talk over this one because I've been recording for over an hour at this point, and I am starting to get a little tired. It's, but yeah, Shenmue so far is great. It's really subdued, but that works in its favor. Everything is focused around the main quest, and it makes getting even the smallest pieces of information feel like a reward. And the amount of extraneous detail and just loving little touches is really nice. And for a game that came out on the Dreamcast in 2000, I can absolutely understand why it is how it is. There are, of course, things wrong with it. Like, it'd be nice if these cutscenes were in 16:9. It would be nice if they even cleaned up the audio just a little bit. And the technical performance of the port isn't 100% great, but it's like 98% great, in my personal experience anyway. It's a really nice little adventure. A modern day adventure, that is a great way to put it. With all sorts of weird little mini games that pop up from time to time really rarely, and it has an interesting plot, although I will admit it is taking a while to get going.
How does he know my father?
But I am enjoying my time with Shenmue immensely. Despite its age, its clunkiness, and just its general overwhelming focus on its plot, even though it would make the gameplay a lot less interactive than one might expect. It is...
Well, I know of him.
It is a good time. I can... There's this video that... Well, actually, let me go start from the beginning. I originally wasn't planning to pick up Shenmue 1 and 2 when it got announced for like PS4, Xbox One, and PC. But I ended up stumbling on a video, which was a... Now I know this is going to sound bad. A 4-hour compilation of reactions to the Shenmue 3 announcement at E3. And seeing how all these people reacted to this game that looked weird, sounded weirder, and didn't seem to be that good on the surface, made me rethink it just a little bit. So when the HD version finally came out, I was like, alright, I'll do it. I'll buy the game and I'll give it a shot. It took me a few months to really get going with it, just due to like other things, but yeah.
When I do, I'll return.
I'm enjoying it immensely for what it is, and that is a legit surprise, even with the amount of people reacting to it. It is legitimately really good, and I am thoroughly impressed with how it doesn't do much, but at the same time does a lot. It's a really unique way to design a game, and yeah, I fully recommend it. If you have the ability to pick up the Shenmue 1 or 2 HD collection, yeah, it works well enough. The game is enjoyable, and I'm gonna have to go pre-order Shenmue 3. There's stuff that I can do about it. I'm not even through Shenmue 1 yet. I'm already committed to seeing this through. So, highly recommended. This has been Blue Maxima, and I will see you all next time.